I'm Paul Allen from the Centre for Alternative Technology, which is like a living laboratory that's been experimenting with the relationship between humans and technology to get technology to work better for people, but within the limits of the planet. And I've come here to share what we've found over the research we've been doing over years with the delegates, with the NGOs, both inside and outside the negotiating hall.
Our countries have agreed to cap warming to 2 degrees this century. What are your findings and how do we get there?
Well, if we're to really look at what we need to do to keep below 2 degrees C, in order that the majority world can have the carbon that we can safely burn to put in the infrastructure they urgently need, us long industrialised countries have to decarbonise much faster than current pledges. I mean, we're exploring with the Zero Carbon Britain model how Britain could set a lead in decarbonising, getting to zero emissions in 2 decades.
So what's stopping us then?
Well, there's a number of different barriers on different levels. Firstly, we need to show that we have all the technologies to do this. So we've pulled together a new report, which we showed in the side event yesterday, called Who's Getting Ready for Zero? That pulls together 100 scenarios from different countries like Ethiopia, America, Australia, Morocco, that show rapid decarbonisation is possible with existing technologies. By pulling all that work together and making it accessible freely to download, people can click on the hot links and fly around the world and look at all these different scenarios to understand that we have all the technologies we need. It's actually a cultural and political barrier.
Earlier this year, the Group of 7 made, some would say, a watershed declaration to decarbonise the global economy over the course of the century. How big was that, in your view?
Well, it's an important step, and changing how millions of people live has all sorts of different barriers. There's economic barriers, there's psychology barriers, there's sociology barriers, but the cutting edge thinking on all of that work tends to be siloed in different departments of universities in different disciplines. So the new report that we've just launched yesterday, called Zero Carbon Making It Happen, pulls together all the critical thinking from economics, sociology, psychology into a single report that anybody can download and then look at how all these different disciplines can link up to help us understand where are these barriers and how we overcome them.
What's your expectation for COP21? We know that 2C is the goal, but we don't quite know how to get there. There's discussion of climate neutrality, various other phrases, but what do you think? What solid things will we get out of this summit with respect to that?
Well, I think one of the most important things to recognise is that we need to convert the INDCs into practical plans, practical scenarios for each country so they know how they will achieve that, so they can begin to see how we can increase ambition. Because I think the most important thing that will come out of Paris will be what happens in the years following Paris. And clearly we're going to need to increase ambition if we're to really keep below the 2 degrees C guardrail. So modelling it, understanding it, how it works, is a way of helping make sure that the decisions we make today actually have a longer term focus. We don't lock ourselves into the wrong path by investing in more coal or investing in short term decisions that actually prevent us reaching the long term zero goal.
You're an Englishman. Are we leading the way?
Well, we were actually based in Machynlleth in Wales.
Excuse me, Britain.
But I was born in England, in Penrith. Britain has such a reputation of pioneering new things, culturally, technically, but what we tend to do is we don't actually capitalise on that. Britain has led the way in pioneering a lot of sustainability things, including a lot of offshore, but we're not actually building on that, we're not making it happen. We seem to be sort of actually retreating from that at the moment, which just seems to be the same old story of British ingenuity, British expertise lost because we're not driving it around the world.
Paul, thanks ever so much.